Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. It really means a lot. My name is Bhumika, and I run the Bangalore Writers Workshop, which is a writing and storytelling school that we established in Bangalore in 2011. Um, yes, thank you. So as you know, as has been announced, we are here to announce the winner of the R.K. Anand Prize for the BWW Short Fiction Award 2025. And it's our second year, so yay. And I'm going to really begin my speech, which is going to be short, with thank yous, because I tend to forget otherwise. So I really want to, this award would really not be possible if it were not for Subodh Shankar from Atagalata and Indira Chandrasekhar from Out of Print partnering with us. And of course, it would not have been possible in such a grand scale if the Bangalore Literature Festival team had not supported us and encouraged us to host this. Hi, Tanuj. Please come. So, huge thank you to all these people. But of course, the award would not have any meaning if we didn't get entries. And this time, I'm very happy. Are you okay? Okay. I'm trying not to fall down. I can step back. Oh, thank you. Okay. So, yes, and oh, that was fun. I needed that breather. Yeah. So, and I'm really grateful to all the participants for this prize. We got around 174 entries this time. And the reach was what surprised me because we got entries all the way from Pakistan. We got entries from Lesotho in Africa. And also, yes, I hadn't even heard of the place. I had to look it up. And a lot of places in the US. So really, thank you for all the people who have participated. And of course, nothing gets done without the BWW community. So thank you so much, all of you, for being here and for participating and for always being so supportive. Yeah. Okay, so the process for the award was quite simple. Once we received all the entries, we did 2 blind reads. And once we did the blind reads, we long listed 25 entries. Atakalata then read those 25 entries and shortlisted 10 entries. And then our esteemed jury members rated them over a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being the highest, and then we found our winner. So, yeah, and having said that, now I'd like to welcome our esteemed jury. We have with us Tanuj Solanki, thank you so much. This is a small gesture of thank you from BWW. And Sonora Jha. Thank you. And of course, Indira Chandrasekhar. Thank you. Thank you. They're really small things that my dad used to enjoy, so yeah, yeah. So yeah, as you know, this is a memorial prize. And to tell you a little bit about my parents, we lost my father in 2023 owing to dementia and related complications. And the kind of man he was very creative. He was an artist and a draftsman. And he really was one of the kindest people I know. And it means something when I say this, because I do happen to know a lot of very, very kind people. Bangalore Writers Workshop community included. So, you know, it is a big thing to say that he was one of the kindest people I knew who put friendship and kindness over everything else. And not always was that a very good thing or a easy thing to follow, but that's how we lived. And those are some of the tenets with which I have tried to run Bangalore Writers Workshop. And it's not been easy, as you can imagine, but it has definitely been fruitful. Because one thing that we do at Bangalore Writers Workshop is, of course, talk a lot about the writing craft and how you write a story or how you write a poem and what goes in and all of that. But all my writers and everyone who joins us, we're all really preoccupied with the human condition. And what do I mean by that? Why are we the kind of people we are? Why are our relationships the way they are? Um, how do we cope in a world such as the one that we are living in? And what does it really mean to be human or to have empathy or to look at the world with nuance and not a lot of judgment? These are some of the things that we talk a lot about in the workshops. And one thing is that we have seen is that when we pay attention to these things, then our writing gets sharper and our writing gets really good. So it may or may not make us very good people. That's still questionable, but it definitely makes us very strong writers. So I'm very happy to be part of this community, which has grown from being aspiring writers to emerging authors now. And bringing about this award was another step in the same direction, because we wanted to recognize more writers, not just in the BWW community, but also globally. And thanks to all of you and this platform, it's now a reality, and this is our second year. So thank you so much for your support, and thank you so much for being here today. And without further ado, I'm going to request Tanuj to talk us through the entries that we received.
Thank you. Do you want?
You're fine. Are you fine?
Okay.
No, I'm good.
So thank you, first of all, to BWW, also to the festival. If some of you might know that I am fiction editor at a literary magazine, Bombay Literary Magazine. It's called TBLM. And so we publish thrice a year. So we get a lot of short fiction, and we publish short fiction. And so that's 400 stories every 3 months. So, so for me, it's like I read a lot of other people's work, and especially writers in formation, right? So if you're a published author, etc., maybe you won't send your story to TBLM, but most writers in formation in India, writing in English, do cross paths with us, as is the case, I imagine, with Out of Print magazine and Indra as well, right? So when Bhumika asked me that you need to, why don't you be a judge? My first reaction, oh my God, I roll my eyes. But I've never done this, so I've taken these judgments for a particular online lit mag, but I've never kind of, weighed in on a literary prize. So I thought, why not? Like, let's do it. And so before talking about the entries, and I must admit that I don't remember the entries. I read them a while back. I remember some of the writers. I might remember some stories more than others. And so I don't want to risk mentioning a couple and then, leaving any sort of insinuation behind, right? What I'll talk about is my larger experience of reading writers in formation, especially when they're, writing short fiction. And what we at TBLM especially see as some trends, some sort of thematic trends, and whether or not I found them in the shortlist or not. So that's where I want to go. Because a lot of writing is done today by older millennials and adjacent age groups, right? Who are just about now discovering or have, the mortality not just of their parents, but also coming to grips with the idea of their own, right? So you're in late 30s, your body's not what it used to be when you're in your 20s, so you're like, oh, I might actually die. So what we see a lot of is, grief is a very big theme. And I've been running TBLM for 12 years. In 2013 or 2014 or 2015, I was not reading a lot of stories that dealt with a parent's loss or some sort of a health impediment, etc. Now we do a lot. And I want, because I kind of identify and see that some of you are, writers in formation or emerging writers and so on and so forth. What that has done at our end, at an evaluator or editor's end is that the premium on that story has gone up, right? What I mean by that premium is that the craft premium on it has gone up because there's so many people, right? So if you receive 400 stories at TPLM, 70 to 80 could be about that. So it's just that much tougher also. So while it is something that is so dear to us that we want to write about it because it might be rooted in our personal experience and so on, it does play out differently in the market. May not be relevant to the price per se, but in the market for stories, it plays out differently. And this is not word of caution or advice, this is just to tell you how it is right now. So we see a lot of that. Secondly, I have seen in Indian writers an increase in SFF elements in fiction. Realism used to be the dominant thing. And now even in realism stories, we see a lot of elements of magicality, some technological things, something, So SFF, tadka, as we say in North India, even in fiction that you would largely not categorize, as slipstream, SFF, and so on. So we are seeing a lot of that. And Bangalore is tops there. I don't know what everyone in Bangalore is reading. Bangalore is tops there.
It's a tech city.
Yeah, it's a tech city. But also in fantasies, like imagining things that might not actually be tech. So at TPLM, for example, we'll read a lot of stories. Sometimes when we are really interested, we'll read the cover. So the cover letter is read after the story is read, typically. And so many of you would mention where you're from. And I have tweeted about this many times. Bangalore is currently tops in English fiction, short Indian fiction writing in India. Now, whether that is because of Bhumika, BWW, or other factors, I don't know. But it is our experience. That may not translate into the final list at a TBLM or an out of print. But what I'm saying is that a lot of stories by Bangalore writers are in consideration in the final stages, which means even if you receive a rejection, doesn't really matter, you should just carry on. Bombay is bad. And I mean, they haven't invited me to their festival, so I'll say this anyway. So Bombay is bad, and Delhi is, kamsi kamsa, like that, but Bangalore is tops. And so yeah, that's it. I saw those things reflected. There were stories tackling grief. There were stories tackling, there were some SFF elements in some of the stories. And yeah, so well done to everyone who was shortlisted, to everyone who was not shortlisted. When you submit to the possibility of injury. So you are injured, but it's okay. That's why you submitted. Okay? And with that, I'll pass to Indra.
Thank you, Tanuj, for the insights. Really, that helped. I think Bangalore, the reason Bangalore leads in writing is also, I think we have a sense of humor. We have to, considering the kind of absurdity we live with in terms of traffic jams or anything on a daily basis. So I think that hugely contributes to our creativity and flights of fancy. Thank you so much. I'll now request Sonora to please announce the runner-up and special mention and talk a few words about that story.
Yeah, and I hope Archana Nair is here. Congratulations, Archana. Please, can we have her up here?
Yes.
She wrote this incredible story called The House of Witches, which made it a very difficult thing for us to decide between the top two contestants, and congratulations. Yeah, it's such a moving, powerful story about generations. It's 3 generations of women in this house, and it's got this metaphysical element you were mentioning, and it has the grief element to it as well, and a beautiful story about women's relationships across generations, the difficulty of that, the mother-daughter tensions, the aunts, but also the celebration of that, and women living fulfilled and beautiful and magical, witchy lives without men, and sort of away from them, self-actualized women, but also carrying grief and carrying generational stories between them. So it was a beautiful, beautiful story to read, and congratulations, and really well deserved.
Congratulations, Archana. if I can't stop grinning, it's because I've known Archana for donkey's years now, and she's part of the community. And so this is a huge win for the BWW community. Congratulations again. And, if you're intrigued and interested by what Sonora said just now, and you're so eager to read the story, then I have a very happy announcement to make, thanks to Indira's generosity and encouragement. She has agreed this year also to publish all the shortlisted stories in the out of print blog. So you will be able to read all the entries very soon. Yes. And now, may I request Indira to please announce the winner and talk a little bit about the winning entry.
Well, as you started, I hope Ratul Ghosh is here.
No, he actually couldn't be here because of a family bereavement, but we have Archana, who's a friend, who's going to collect the prize on his behalf.
Wonderful.
May I request my mom, Mrs. Sarvamangala, to please come?
Should she come up? It's so steep,
Be very careful. I'm very careful, slowly. Would you like to Are we getting a good picture? Should we all stand? This is weird that I made it. Maybe you all should. And just turn. Ratul, if you're watching, congratulations. We really miss you. And I hope to catch up with you soon. Be careful.
Yes, I will. Yes, so my timer is saying I have 5 minutes, but we have to speak about the story. So first of all, a big congratulations to Ratul. I wish I could meet him. Last year, too, I did not meet the winner. So, yeah. I also want to thank the BWW Anand Prize for this wonderful, generous support of the short fiction form. I think building communities of short fiction, being with Tanuj, being with Sonora short story writers who support the form, it's so important. So thank you very much for doing that. As you all know, I'm the editor of Out of Print, so I feel part of the community. And I know some of these stories, they come my way, so it's, and I know some of the names who submit, so that's kind of exciting. I also want to thank congratulate all the shortlisters before I get into talking about Ratul's story. Now, Tanuj, you sort of set the tone for what I wanted to say, which is, yes, this is another story about grief in a sense, but it's about much more than just grief. Ratul's story opens with the line, "One could lose a mother in many ways." And then it goes on to say, "All I knew on Vijayadashmi was that she was gone. In every other way, the world was strangely normal. The sun, the dust, the birdsong, the Bangalore traffic were exactly how they were before. Crackling leaves lay about in heaps. The house looked the same. The faint fragrance of Belpool hung in the air. The calendar swung and scraped a crescent on the wall. Strands of silvery hair fluttered in her comb. The slight hollow on her bed remained." It launches one into the chaos of discovering that your mother is lost, but that extraordinary event is landscaped on the ordinary, on the everyday, on acceptance, on reality, really. And it launches one into this chaos, yes, and it launches one also into the sort of emotional swing of moving between anxiety, resentment, anger, grief, fear at this lost mother. And what you also find is that, what you also discover through the story is really this mother who has been displaced from a home she knew all her life, a home she built, a home she loved, into the confinements of a Bangalore flat as she, is widowed, is now suddenly completely discombobulated. And the story then really examines what it is for a family who is living in this Bangalore flat in the middle of COVID, buffeted by having to live their lives through the screen, to deal with this woman who is suddenly flitting about like a specter behind them as they're looking into their monitors. It's a story about this lady's disempowerment, but it also is about her empowerment as she grasps control and disappears. At least that's how I read it. And as you go through the story, you also realize it is about severance, because you go to this house which is called Parijata. The name of the story is Shiuli, which means Parijata in Bengali, presumably, and it is about severance as you go in through the story and discover how the protagonist deals with the disappearance of his mother. It's brilliant, really, as is yours too, Archana. Really wonderful stories, all. Thank you so very much. And Lekha, I have ended with 1 minute to spare. I'm so proud of myself.
Thank you so much. Thank you, jury members, again. Please, huge round of applause to these lovely people. And thank you all so much for being a part of our celebration. Thank you so much. Have a great day today. Eat well now. It's past lunchtime. And enjoy the festival. And keep reading, keep writing, and keep trying to build awareness about everything that's happening around us. And do definitely write. Thank you so much. See you all.